Hey guys, I want to talk about weight loss and fat loss, but I also want to talk about why sometimes when we start eating healthier, we start cutting calories, we don't lose weight soon. This is kind of one of the reasons. So this is basically my great drawing, and this is like a hole. So the hole represents being in a caloric deficit, and what that means is that you're taking in less calories than you burn. So say on average you burn 2,000 calories a day, just between your workouts and moving around. So you want to eat less than that to lose weight. So when we eat less than that, eventually what will happen is that a body has to dip into its reserves, and this is called a calorie deficit. And this is why we might lose muscle, we might lose fat. But sometimes it can take a while to get to this point based on how you eat before. So if you spent the last few months eating like 3,000 calories a day, instead of the whole, you might have this big mound. So it's going to take a little bit for you to actually burn through all this extra energy you have until you get to the point where you're actually in a deficit and you start losing weight. Now, like I said, how much of a deficit you're in. So if you're in a small deficit, this might take a while. You just say this is each day. It's going to take a while for you to see some changes. Now, on the flip side, you could be in a big deficit. It will happen faster. One of the problems with it happening faster is that can you maintain that for a long period of time? Because this is what might happen. You're in this huge deficit, say this is 1, 2, 3 days, but then the fourth day it's too hard and you binge or you eat a ton of food again for the next few days, and you don't diet anymore for a few weeks. Then you kind of rebuild this, all right? So we do want a deficit, a decent one, but we want one we can sustain for a decent period of time so that we can actually lose weight. Another thing that happens is, say that you're doing good, you create this deficit, say like Monday through Thursday, then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you go overboard, and now you've kind of built that mound again. Now, and then when Monday hits, instead of being in more of a deficit this week, you're actually just trying to catch up with what you did during the weekend. So what ends up happening is that you're actually in you're either in like maintenance calories where you're not going to lose or gain weight, or you're in a small surplus because you spend, say, Monday and Tuesday kind of burn off all the energy that you gained over the weekend. So the only days that you're in a deficit is for a couple days, and that's why you might not see like a big change in your weight. So just remember that it's all about energy. So if I have a lot of energy reserves, my body's not going to dip into a deficit until I'm in a caloric deficit. And so this will depend on how much calories your body's burning each day, but also the deficit that you're in, and then how long you're in the deficit. So if you're only in a deficit like 3 days a week, it's going to take longer. If you're in a deficit like 6, 7 days a week, you're going to get faster results. But again, you want to do it in a sustainable way because it is kind of a slow process, and you're going to have to be in a deficit for a while to lose a decent amount of body fat. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about, you might be in a deficit and you might be burning fat and you've gotten leaner, but it doesn't show up on the scale. This happens a lot with females because of the water retention that happens on their hormones, their monthly period. So sometimes you might not, because of that, sometimes it masks the results you're getting. So one mistake that happens a lot is that you work hard and then you won't see the change in the scale, and then you get very frustrated and then you quit. So you don't want to do that. So just kind of realize that sometimes water weight will mask the results you have, and also look at different things to give you clues if you're getting leaner. So if you look in the mirror and you just feel leaner, like that, like have value to that. If you feel like your clothes are fitting looser, if you maybe sometimes it's happened so much with females is they get compliments, their clothes are fitting better, but they don't see the changes on the scale, and then they get very frustrated. You're losing fat, you're getting leaner. That's the most important thing, and the scale will eventually show it. It just won't show it as fast as you want for those hormonal water changes reasons. So I want to make that video. So that's kind of why it may take a little bit for you to see results, because you have to get to the point where your body is going to dip into the reserves, aka body fat or even lean tissue, which we really don't want in order to start losing weight. So if you're not in a deficit on a consistent basis, or if you're in a deficit really just 3 or 4 days and then you have this big surplus on the weekend, you're not going to end up being in a deficit a lot during the week, because your deficit during the week is just basically catching up for all the crazy stuff you did over the weekend. And hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully I explained it well. If you have any questions on this stuff, let me know.